Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 11th of April 2026. US airman rescued. With swinging mood, Trump's vitriol is spewed. Then his threat is reviewed and the plan to wipe Iran off the map is discontinued. But peace talks do not conclude. The BMA's feud with the government is continued. From Artemis II, the Earth is viewed from great altitude. Waitrose sack a heroic dude for fear of being sued. J.D. Vance had, for a while, gone quiet since his country took aim at Iran and ran riot. But his lukewarm support clearly hadn't been ignored. On Saturday, he departed to the Department of Fraud. Trump talked Vance up to hide his disapproval, but most people saw it as a partial removal. Possibly a sign of some mumbling and grumbling. Maybe Trump's team is stumbling or crumbling. In recent weeks, there's been some major sackings as unwavering loyalty is slacking or lacking. That includes Attorney General Pam Bondi, whom Trump previously thought of quite fondly. There's been others, and there'll no doubt be more, like Trump's first term, which became a revolving door. The US airman who went missing behind enemy lines on Sunday was rescued, exhausted but fine. So the US president could exhale with relief. He came out with a diatribe beyond belief. He often uses his stage to rant and rage and to frequently engage in a verbal rampage, but on Sunday his words of outright outrage seemed designed solely to incense and enrage, gripped with the tension with his war to wage, threatening to bomb Iran into the Stone Age. Expletive-laden rhetoric, including the F-word from the world's highest office. It shouldn't be heard. Threatening to burn bridges and power stations and also burn bridges with the United Nations. Then on Tuesday, as the deadline drew nigh, when a whole civilization was supposed to die, Trump withdrew his threat to set light to Iran's sky, and he spared Iranians with no clear reason why. Both sides agreed a ceasefire and claimed victory, which by definition must be contradictory. Now the world has a problem to contemplate. Iran has total control of the Hormuz Strait. Global trade now being held as ransom, likely to cause a world recession and some. Trump, it's fair to say, thinks Islam is bad, but he's now pinning his hopes on Islamabad. Pakistan, the peace brokers, willing to host talks, but how are there talks when tongues are forks and the truce can't hold if the truth isn't told? And by the end of the week, peace talks were on hold. And even though Trump rambled on and on about the ceasefire applying to Lebanon, for Netanyahu immediately means anon. Ceasefire doesn't appear in his lexicon. Trump may well try to will it into existence, but he cannot conquer Netanyahu's resistance. The resident doctors are now starting to test the patience of the government and public and, of course, patients. This week's 5-day strike set a bad example, taking the piss or perhaps the urine sample. The BMA aren't just in pursuit of more loot, it's also about the need to retain and recruit. The government, angry at not resolving the dispute, have decided to play hardball and put in the boot, chucking 1,000 training places down the chute. which seems to have made the standoff more acute. In the 70s and 80s, some of us loved to pass on the alternative humour of Gary Larson, the off-the-wall humour that came from a sense of seeing the world through an alternative lens. The Far Side was the name his cartoons assumed, showing how for him the world was consumed. We now learn the Far Side isn't just for cartoons, it's also the name for the dark side of the moon. And on Monday, for the first time, humans went there. For 40 minutes, though, the moment couldn't be shared. 'Cause the moon was between Earth and Artemis II, so Earth could not make contact with the crew. Just like those cartoons taking a different point of view, this was a universal perspective seen anew. On Friday, the crew came back down to Earth with a bump, with some out-of-this-world hyperbole from Trump. Waitrose is a retail name of some renown, with a presence in many a city and town. But this week the public came to know of a case to deal their reputation a blow. It wasn't a misdirected publicity stunt, but a decision to give common sense a shunt and get right and wrong all back to front. Most people thought it idiotic, to be blunt. A loyal and long-time employee of the chain saw another shoplifter stealing again. So he took on this specimen of human dregs who had taken a haul of Easter eggs. He scuffled with the thief and got the eggs back and was rewarded by Waitrose giving him the sack. Waitrose said they'd acted because they cared about their staff. Walker Smith no doubt thought you're having a laugh. The logic was that if staff take the scum on, they may get hurt or face a police summons. But if a blind eye keeps being turned by everyone, probity's the loser and crime has won. With a war on, Epstein's hardly got a mention, but on Thursday Melania made an intervention. She made a speech at the White House to relay that she had naught to do with Jeffrey in any way. She said victims had an important role to play and should testify in a courtroom one day. Many wondered what she was really trying to say.